So, one setup per session. Yesterday, London had a beautiful setup. I was not watching it, so this is just pure hindsight. Bigger time frame, price did a really sharp correction up to the golden fib, the 60% or 62% level. If you look at the daily, there is a daily gap that was yesterday holding price back. Actually, it was still holding price back on Monday. So when we dropped to the 4 hour, you could see like this level coming in and price closed above, creating a change in the state. It was a very narrow one, so then I go down even lower. So we have already first change in the state here, move up, second change in the sense that we have market structure break. Of course, they are different, but for me, it's just when we go through such a level, then it means that most likely the bottom here is in, and we're going to have some kind of relief rally until most likely this area or cluster. So on the daily, price was holding, or this daily gap was holding price down. This was the last Friday. Price corrected on the open Sunday evening, and then price was ranging here, and this is when the setup occurred. So when I go to the 15, so this was Asia session, and London was about to open here. And normally when you have this overnight session, there's not much going on. But I saw we have two 15-minute levels. This one is not too interesting, and here price was being held. So it wasn't able to close below. And for ES, we saw a similar structure. And here there was a bigger cluster holding price up. I can also just use this one, but the areas are actually so close. So we had the same 15-minute block holding price. I'll just move it back a little bit, but then there was a SMT, and for me, I want to see like at least a 50-minute fair value gap, or even an hour is better at minimum to consider taking a setup or seeing it as a valid setup. But an SMT, especially when there are hours in between, is a very strong indication that price might be going up. So for me, my bias was already slowly switching to bullish. So yesterday I took two shorts, but still I think price is going to move up the rest of the week. Of course, there's FOMC, but I don't think there will be much news there. But okay, this setup. So what do we have? We have an SMT, and then when we go to the 5-minute, because I think the 5-minute presented plenty of opportunity, there was a lot of liquidity. So let's call this the how do you say it, low resistance liquidity run. It was the same, and then we have a gap here. So there was an inefficiency here, and ideally you want to target these levels. But what caught my eye is that we had a bigger time frame SMT, no lower time frame SMT. So that's okay, but it's unfortunate. For me, when the US session has opened, I'm okay trading 1 minute, but for the London session, generally I prefer the 5 minutes because it gives a bit more confirmation. And what you can see is that there was this 5-minute gap. Price found resistance, broke through it, and then the moment we get a close above, you can, especially when we ran these highs, we get another retest. So in terms of change in the state, we have a change in the state here. So these are the things that I look for in every setup. Same here. Actually, ES punched a bit deeper, and I tend to use the confluence of the change in the state and the fair value gap when they align I'm happy. That's what I want to see. And I have my special VIP, taking into account this level. And that only has, the most important part is the 236 and the 618 as a first take profit level. What you see is that the 236 here was a bit higher, so that did not give much for me. But the general idea is once price close above, then you can take into account ideally that price does a retest on the 236 and you can have your stop at the 0.1 level, giving you a 2.7 R to the 618 level. And then it's very important to see if price aligns with those levels. So here you can see the 236 aligns really nicely with this price action, because you can see this level here, support, and I've noticed this especially in other setups. If you have a support, it breaks down and it is able to reclaim it again. This is a very, very, very strong level to assume that support will hold. And for the 618, it's a bit up in the air. So, you know, you have this fair value gap. Price is probably going to run this liquidity and then correct a little bit, and then it just bursts through. But hey, it's all hindsight, so who cares? My first TP would be here. This is logical TP. Makes sense, and this would be my second TP. So everything is aligned. I'll just move this out of the way, because it's just for reference. I'm not going to actually, it's just added confluence for the strength. So what do we have? Support, breakdown, creating a gap on the way down. Most likely on the 1 minute there is also a gap. But like I said, I want to see the fair value gap being broken to the upside. I want to see a change in the state. And it all aligns with the 236. So you can have a retest on the change in the state. I've noticed so many times that once it goes, it retests at least once. But if you are a scaredy pants, like I am still very often, unfortunately, then you can of course do at the EQ of the fair value gap, or maybe even at the top of the fair value gap. So let's go in the middle of the fair value gap. Here, first TP is at 1.7 or 8, and this is, wow, 4R trade. That's ridiculous. Yeah, once it would go, then you're just a happy participant of the market. Actually, it went further. It actually took these highs as well, some sharp corrections, and here you're already at the open of the US. I would not take it that long, because this is already quite a long trade. How long is this trade? This is a 3-hour trade. Yeah, I don't think I don't know if my patience will hold me for that long. But okay, if you have a runner, then you're happy. So this is the setup for it. London session, really, really nice one.